Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Tua Tagovailoa's journey with the Miami Dolphins is a tale that started with great promise, surged with optimism, and now floats in a cloud of uncertainty, even after a blockbuster deal. When the Dolphins handed Tua a 4-year, $212.4 million extension right before the 2024 season kicked off, it looked like the franchise was all in. A commitment of that magnitude doesn't just signal trust. It screams belief. Miami wasn't just giving Tua a pay raise. They were declaring that the former first-round pick, once hailed as the future of the franchise, was the centerpiece of their long-term vision. And yet not everyone is convinced that this marriage will last. While the ink on the contract is barely dry, The Athletic has already sounded the alarm bells, suggesting that this could be Tua's final year in Miami. That's right. Despite the big payday, despite the optimism, the scenario of an early divorce isn't entirely off the table. Now, let's be clear here. Nobody's saying the Dolphins are packing Tua's bags or eyeing the exit ramp just yet. The Athletic emphasized that such a move is unlikely in the immediate future. 2025 is too soon. 2026 more plausible. But the mere fact that such speculation is even part of the conversation tells you a lot about how fragile quarterback tenures can be in the NFL, even when backed by 9-figure contracts. The article paints a hypothetical but not implausible picture. Imagine the Dolphins tight against the salary cap, limping through a disappointing 2025 season with only 5 or 6 wins. In that scenario, ownership could hit the reset button. New leadership might come in. Look at Tua's concussion history and stylistic limitations as a pocket passer and decide it's time to pivot. That pivot, drafting a rookie quarterback and trying to move on from Tua, trading him if possible, or facing the monstrous cap hit if not, but moving on wouldn't be simple. Financially, this isn't just about cutting a player and starting fresh. If the Dolphins were to cut Tua after the 2025 season, they'd need a mind-boggling $79 million in dead cap. An enormous figure, but not quite the NFL record. That dubious honor belongs to Russell Wilson, whose release left the Broncos with an $85 million cap hit. Still, $79 million is a massive financial penalty, and it makes the logistics of a clean break incredibly messy. If Miami wanted to soften the blow, they'd need to trade Tua, and that's assuming someone out there would take on his contract, concussion concerns, and all. It's a tightrope act, and the idea of simply walking away from such a major investment feels more like fantasy than reality. But again, stranger things have happened in this league, especially when desperation sets in. One of the biggest wild cards in all this, Tua's health. As Jim Aiello from The Athletic points out, durability is the real shadow looming over Tagovailoa's future. He's already suffered multiple concussions, and another serious injury could send everything into a tailspin. If he misses significant time in 2025, the chatter about his long-term viability will grow louder. That's just the nature of the business. NFL teams are notoriously impatient when it comes to quarterback uncertainty, and fair or not, availability is sometimes more valuable than raw talent. It's why teams like the Jets keep trying to find a durable QB, and why the 49ers moved on from Jimmy Garoppolo despite his playoff record. If Tua misses games, the front office and fan base will question whether he can really be the guy for the next half-decade. Then there's the leadership dynamic. Right now, Tua is tied to head coach Mike McDaniel and general manager Chris Grier. Grier drafted him. McDaniel has publicly praised him. Their reputations, to a degree, are tied to his success. But what if 2025 brings another middling 8-9 season, no playoffs, and more questions than answers? Owner Stephen Ross isn't known for his patience. He's already made it clear that the status quo isn't acceptable. If results don't come, Ross could clean house. And that's when things get really interesting. A new coach and GM free of any loyalty to Tua might see his profile, injury prone, not a cannon arm, not a dual threat, as replaceable. That's how the NFL works. It's a revolving door. And Tua, for all his progress, still hasn't fully kicked that maybe label. What's fascinating is just how much this potential fork in the road depends on performance and perception in the next 18 months. If Tua balls out in 2025, stays healthy, posts elite numbers, leads Miami to the playoffs. None of this will matter. He'll be the undisputed guy, but the NFL doesn't wait long for results. If the Dolphins stumble, if the offense sputters, or if another injury strikes, then even that $212.4 million commitment starts to feel more like an anchor than a lifeline. Suddenly, that crazy idea of moving on becomes logical because, as harsh as it sounds, NFL franchises are in the winning business. Sentimentality takes a back seat to pragmatism. And right now, that pragmatic lens is exactly how outlets like The Athletic are starting to view Miami's quarterback situation. Still, let's not pretend this would be an easy decision. Financially, emotionally, and practically parting ways with Tua would be a massive undertaking. The cap hits are brutal. The optics are worse. Imagine trading away your highly paid franchise QB 1 year after calling him the future. That's whiplash. It sends a message of instability. And unless the new quarterback, be it a rookie or veteran, hits the ground running, fans will quickly turn their ire toward management. Plus, who's realistically going to trade for Tua? With that contract and injury history, maybe a desperate team like the Falcons or Patriots, but they'd want Miami to eat some of that salary. That adds another layer of complexity to a process already overflowing with risk and uncertainty. It's not just a football decision, it's a business one. Now, let's also entertain the possibility that Miami stands pat. Let's say they decide to ride it out through 2026, banking on continuity, trusting in development, and hoping that the payoff eventually matches the price tag. That's not a far-fetched scenario. In fact, it's the most likely outcome. Tua's cap hit might be heavy, but it's still manageable under the right structure. And if he remains healthy and productive, there's no real incentive to start over. Drafting a new QB means rolling the dice. Free agency doesn't offer many surefire solutions. Sticking with Tua, despite the whispers and hypotheticals, might just be the safest bet, especially if the Dolphins keep winning. Because in the end, nothing silences doubt like success. If Miami racks up wins, this entire discussion becomes moot. The rumors vanish, the speculation ends, and the focus shifts back to the field. Yet for now, those rumors are very real. The Athletic didn't conjure this scenario out of thin air. They looked at the financials, the health history, the team's trajectory, and laid out a scenario that, while extreme, isn't unimaginable. That's what makes it so compelling. It forces us to ask tough questions about what a franchise owes its quarterback, how long it should wait for greatness, and what level of risk is acceptable in pursuit of a title. Tua Tagovailoa has shown flashes of brilliance. His 2023 season was a leap forward, but the road ahead remains uncertain. The Dolphins' fate and Tua's place within it could hinge on just a few games, a few throws, or one unfortunate hit. That's the nature of the NFL. 1 minute, you're the guy. The next, you're just another name in the rumor mill. So, as Dolphins fans buckle in for the 2025 season, they'll be watching every snap, every throw, every result with heightened intensity. Because this isn't just another season, it might be the season. The one that determines whether Tua Tagovailoa cements himself as the Dolphins' unquestioned leader or becomes the latest talented QB to be let go in search of something better, something different, something new. There's so much riding on his health, his performance, and the team's overall success. And in a league where fortunes change overnight, nothing can be taken for granted. The Dolphins made their bet. They handed Tua the bag. Now all eyes turn to the field, where the real answer will come. Not from rumors, not from analysts, but from Tua himself. The pressure is on. Let's see how he responds. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? As rumors swirl around the NFL offseason, one name is echoing through both coasts with increasing intensity. ASANTE Samuel Jr., the young and talented cornerback, formerly donning the powder blue of Los Angeles, is now allegedly on his way to South Beach. That's right. Miami Dolphins fans are buzzing with excitement as multiple insider sources hint that Samuel Jr. is ready to trade Hollywood lights for ocean waves. While no official announcement has been made yet, the whispers have grown louder, and social media is already flooded with jersey swaps and speculation. Samuel Jr., son of the legendary cornerback ASANTE Samuel Sr., is expected to bring a new level of lockdown coverage to a Dolphins secondary that already boasts serious talent. If this move materializes, it could mark a pivotal moment for the franchise's defensive resurgence. This isn't just another offseason rumor. It feels like the real deal, and Dolphins fans might be witnessing a new era forming. What makes this potential move even more tantalizing is the timing. The Dolphins have been quietly but methodically assembling a defense that can go toe-to-toe with the AFC's elite offenses. While the offense has garnered attention with names like Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill, it's the defense that could be the silent killer in 2025. Adding ASANTE Samuel Jr. to the mix could very well be the final puzzle piece that elevates this secondary into something elite. He brings not just youth and energy, but also a sharp football IQ that has been cultivated from years of watching his father dominate the league. This isn't just a flashy move. It's strategic, a calculated chess play by a franchise hungry for postseason glory. And if Miami is serious about dethroning teams like the Chiefs and Ravens, then this kind of defensive firepower isn't just helpful, it's essential. Samuel Jr. could be the difference between wildcard and championship contention. Sources close to the situation suggest that discussions between Samuel Jr.'s camp and Miami's front office have been progressing steadily. While the finer details are still under wraps, some insiders have hinted that both sides are extremely optimistic about a deal being finalized in the coming weeks. That's music to the ears of Dolphins fans who have been craving consistency in their defensive backfield. Last season saw flashes of brilliance, but also moments of breakdown that cost Miami dearly in tight games. A player like Samuel Jr. could help shore up those weaknesses and provide a reliable physical presence on the outside. His speed, agility, and nose for the football make him an ideal fit for Vic Fangio's evolving defensive schemes. If there's any truth to these rumors, it's clear that Miami isn't playing games this offseason. They're making moves with a purpose, and Samuel Jr. could soon be the face of a secondary reborn. It's not just about the stats, though. ASANTE Samuel Jr.'s numbers certainly speak for themselves. It's about the attitude he brings. Known for his confidence and competitive edge, he doesn't back down from any matchup. That's exactly the kind of mentality Miami needs to foster on its roster if it wants to take the next step. Pairing him with Jevon Holland and Jalen Ramsey, assuming Ramsey returns to full health, could create a terrifying trio for opposing quarterbacks. Think about it. A ball hawk like Samuel Jr. lining up on one side, a seasoned veteran in Ramsey on the other, and a field general like Holland anchoring. Deep coverage. That's not just a defense, that's a statement. A warning shot to the AFC. And you better believe teams are already taking notice. Even the mere rumor of this move has sparked heated debates across NFL circles and sports shows alike. Everyone wants to know, is this really happening? What's particularly interesting is the shift in perception surrounding the Dolphins organization. For years, Miami was seen as a team stuck in mediocrity, flashy but lacking substance. Now, they're suddenly being talked about as one of the savviest franchises in the league. Moves like this, if confirmed, signal a front office that's not just reactive, but proactive. They're building a roster designed to compete today, not 5 years down the line. Samuel Jr. fits into that vision perfectly. At just 24 years old, he's entering the prime of his career. He's got experience under his belt, but still plenty of upside. And more importantly, he's hungry. Hungry to prove himself, to step out of his father's shadow, and to cement his own legacy. If the Dolphins can tap into that drive and pair it with this already formidable defensive unit, then the sky truly is the limit. This could be the move that shifts the power balance in the AFC East. Of course, we've seen promising acquisitions fall apart before. Nothing is guaranteed in the NFL, especially during the chaos of free agency and trade season. But there's something about this particular rumor that feels different. The buzz is stronger, the source is more confident, even beat reporters close to the Chargers have noted a change in tone from Samuel Jr.'s camp, suggesting that his departure from Los Angeles might not just be a possibility, it could be inevitable. That's a tough pill for Chargers fans to swallow, especially given his growth over the past few seasons. But from Miami's perspective, this is a golden opportunity, a chance to swoop in and grab a proven talent who's ready for a fresh start. South Beach isn't just about glitz and glamour anymore. It's becoming a serious football destination, and ASANTE Samuel Jr. could be the next star to shine in that Miami spotlight, bringing swagger and skill in equal measure. The financial implications of this rumored deal are also worth examining. Reports indicate that the Dolphins have managed their cap space wisely, leaving room for exactly this kind of impact signing. With other key players already locked in, Miami has the flexibility to offer Samuel Jr. a competitive deal without gutting the rest of the roster. That's a testament to smart front office management and long-term vision. But it's not just about throwing money around, it's about finding the right fit. Samuel Jr. isn't just another name on a free agency list. He's a scheme versatile defender who can thrive in man or zone, who understands leverage and spacing, and who brings a high football IQ to the table. In short, he's exactly the kind of player Miami needs if they want to evolve from a playoff hopeful to a true contender. The numbers might not be public yet, but if Miami is truly all in, they'll do whatever it takes. There's also the question of chemistry, and that might be the most overlooked aspect of this potential acquisition. Talent is great, but cohesion wins games. From all indications, Samuel Jr. is a locker room asset. Teammates praise his work ethic, his study habits, and his willingness to mentor younger players. That's huge for a Dolphins team that's been trying to build a culture of accountability and professionalism. Bringing in a player with his pedigree and mindset could ripple through the entire defense. Imagine the impact on younger corners, or even rookies learning the ropes. They'd be getting tutored by someone who lives and breathes the game. And don't forget, playing alongside someone like Ramsey could push Samuel Jr. to even greater heights. Iron sharpens iron. If this deal goes through, it won't just be a win on the field. It'll be a win in the locker room, in the film room, and in the culture Miami's trying to establish. What makes this so compelling for Dolphins fans is the feeling that this isn't a one-off move, but part of a bigger plan. You can sense it. The franchise is building something. The past few years have been about setting the foundation. Now they're going for it. And in today's NFL, if you're not aggressive, you're irrelevant. Miami's brass seems to understand that. The addition of ASANTE Samuel Jr. would be a signal not just to their fans, but to the rest of the league. We're not here to participate, we're here to dominate. The Dolphins haven't hoisted a Lombardi in decades, but this kind of acquisition could bring them closer than they've been in a very long time. It's still a rumor for now, but if it becomes reality, expect Hard Rock Stadium to be rocking with renewed hope. And a secondary that could rival any in the league. The era of defense in Miami might just be back. So where does this leave us? In the thick of anticipation. Fans are refreshing Twitter, insiders are teasing cryptic messages, and analysts are already revising their preseason rankings. That's the power of a player like ASANTE Samuel Jr. He moves the needle, he brings buzz, he brings belief. And if this deal does get finalized in the coming days or weeks, it will be one of the most impactful moves of the offseason. Not just for Miami, but for the entire AFC landscape. Because a strong secondary doesn't just stop passes, it creates turnovers, it changes momentum, it wins games. And in a conference loaded with quarterback talent, that's invaluable. So keep your eyes on South Beach. Something special might be brewing there. And if the rumors are true, and Samuel Jr. is indeed headed to the Dolphins, then buckle up, because this could be the beginning of something truly exciting. Stay tuned. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!